Hello and good afternoon from Belgrade. I'm Patrick McPartlin, editor of the Hibs Observer, and I'm here to cover tonight's match between FK Partizan and Hibernian. The match is the first leg of the UEFA Conference League third qualifying round tie between the two teams. Hibs, as we know, dropped into the tertiary competition after being eliminated from the Europa League at the second round qualifying stage by Midtjylland of Denmark. Partizan lost at the first hurdle, losing on penalties to AEK Larnaca of Cyprus, before beating Alexandria of Ukraine 6-0 on aggregate in the second qualifying round stage of the Conference League to set up tonight's tie, which promises to be a rather feisty encounter in the Serbian capital. Hibs have played at the Partizan Stadium before. They were drawn to face Red Star Belgrade, Partizan's bitter rivals, in 1961 in the Fairs Cup, but due to stadium construction, Red Star were unable to play the game at their home ground, so they hosted the home leg at Partizan Stadium and showed no ill effects of playing at the home of their greatest rivals, posting a 4-0 first leg victory over Hibs and followed that up with a 1-0 victory Easter Road the following week to send them through to the next round. So a stadium that does not have happy memories for Hibs, but they will hope to change that this evening at 9 p.m. A little word on the weather. It is sort of 27, 28 degrees at the moment. It's still scheduled to be pretty hot by the time kickoff comes around, which is 9 p.m. local time, 8 p.m. UK time. It's expected to be 25 degrees, so plenty of that kind of Balkan heat will be in evidence. It's a cliche, I suppose, but it'll add to the kind of intense pressure and the atmosphere and playing at a formidable stadium, intimidating home crowd, all those cliches that we associate with European games. Looks like they'll be coming true this evening for Hibs. I think they should sort of feel confident the way they played against Midtjylland and getting their Scottish Premiership campaign off to a winning start. With that 2-1 win up at Dundee on Sunday, should be lots for Hibs to be confident about going into tonight's tie. In terms of team news, Grant Hanley has been registered in time to be included in the squad should David Gray wish. I would imagine it's unlikely he'll end up playing any sort of part in the game unless absolutely required. We know he only signed earlier this week. He's only had a couple of training sessions. Before that, he was a free agent, so maybe not had the same sort of pre-season that the other players will have had. Gray was talking up his fitness earlier this week and saying he's kept himself ticking over. Believe he was working with Norwich City under 23s, but I would imagine it would be a surprise to see him playing any sort of part tonight unless it's absolutely required. We know that the coaching staff don't want to rush players into anything before they're ready. We've seen the same with record signing Thibaut Clige, who has also been sort of limited to dribs and drabs of action so far. But I think it's about building them up to a stage where they can compete, where they can go in and make a difference. That's what the coaching staff want to do. We saw it last season with Kieran Bowie. We saw it with players coming back from injury. And I suspect we will see it with Thibaut Clige and Grant Hanley as well. Apart from that, other team news, I would imagine that Nicky Cadden will be the sort of only main doubt from last week. Joe Newell and Rudy Milotnikov still missing, but Nicky Cadden going off with a hamstring injury during extra time against Midtjylland probably makes him a serious doubt for tonight. It would be a big surprise, I think, if he does feature. Again, something that Hibs won't want to rush the player back from. What sort of team selection David Gray goes for, we'll get the team news sort of about an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. I would be surprised to see too many changes from the lineup we've become used to seeing so far. The squad's not his biggest. I don't think Gray has a huge number of options in certain areas. So I think we could probably guess some of the team. I wouldn't see any changes in the defence. I wouldn't see any changes in goalkeeper. I think you could probably pick the midfield, Dylan Levitt and Josh Mulligan in the middle, and probably Chris Cadden and Jordan Abita on either flank as wing backs, and then the usual sort of rear guard of Jordan Smith in goals with Warren O'Hora at right centre back, Rocky Bashiri in the middle, and Jack Iredale at left centre back. Up front, again, it would be hard to look past Martin Boyle and Kieran Bowie as that partnership if David Gray wants to go with two up front. If he doesn't, then I suppose it depends on whether he wants to go for kind of speed with Boyle or battering ram with Kieran Bowie. Bowie obviously scoring a double against Dundee will have given Gray food for thought. Junior Hoylett also started that game up at Dens Park with Jamie McGrath on the bench, but there are a lot of options in that number 10 role, whether David Gray plays 2 or 1. So we will see later on just how David Gray feels he'll line up to give his side the best possible chance of getting a positive result in the first leg to take back to Easter Road next week. It feels like a real kind of chance for Hibs to progress in Europe. Drawing Midtjylland was a tough draw, and I think Hibs can be proud of what they managed to do over the two legs, particularly in Denmark. That was a good result. They were very close to taking a win from that game into the second leg, and then obviously it's arguably three spectacular goals from the Danes, just proving the difference over the course of the two legs. Partizan maybe aren't the team that they once were. I think a lot of people, hear about teams like Partizan and Red Star, and they'll sort of think of the sort of European glory days for both teams. Not sure they're now where they once were, but still a formidable opposition in a kind of intense environment. Partizan's ultras, or grabari, which means gravediggers, are kind of well known. You might have seen some of the social media footage doing the rounds from the Eternal Derby, which is when Partizan play Red Star, and it looks pretty chaotic. There's lots of flames, lots of noise, flares, smoke, you name it, riot police. I don't imagine it'll be quite to the same levels of chaos tonight, but I think it will still be a bit more of an intimidating atmosphere compared to what Hibs faced in the MCH Arena, or indeed Dens Park at the weekend there. So, as I said, the match kicks off 9 p.m. local time, which is 8 p.m. UK time. We'll be there covering every moment, every kick. Do follow us on hibsobserver.co.uk for the latest, and on social media as well. You can get us on X, Facebook, Blue Sky, on YouTube obviously, and I would encourage you to subscribe. At the moment it's £1 for 6 months, which I think represents great value for what we're doing. You can join us at hibsobserver.co.uk/subscribe. Hoping to do another video from the ground later on, just to give you a little taste of the Partizan Stadium. Quite an iconic kind of bowl-shaped venue in Serbia. Really quite a striking sort of colour scheme with the black and white matching Partizan's colours. So I think, just keep an eye out on socials, and we will aim to bring you the latest and sort of all the updates from tonight's clash at the Partizan Stadium. A really big night for Hibs, coming just a day after their 150th anniversary celebrations, and what better way to mark such a milestone than with a famous victory against a European club with a lot of European history. So I'll wrap it up here, go out and enjoy the sights and sounds of Belgrade, and I will catch up with you later. Thanks.